Zimbabwe has been identified as one of the few African countries, I think about 7 countries in Africa, who are currently doing a business plan with support from ICAO and funding from the UK government. The whole aspect is around developing sustainable aviation fuels, fuel that can be developed from sugarcane, from bagasse, from castor beans, from soya beans, fuel that will be sustainable so that we move away from the carbon the development of sustainable aviation fuels will be a replacement of the oil that is being used to reduce our carbon footprint in the aviation sector. And I'm very excited that Zimbabwe has been identified by ICAO with funding from the UK government to do now a business plan. We have done a feasibility study, now we are moving on to the business plan to look at the nitty-gritties to see if it makes financial sense for us as a country to put up a SAF plant. But looking at us where we are geographically within the SADC region, we are perfectly located to produce sustainable aviation fuel in Zimbabwe to fuel airlines that come into the country, fuel our own, as we move towards reducing the carbon footprint. And ultimately, sustainable aviation fuel production will impact positively on our economy. It will develop the upstream and downstream industries from the small-scale farmer producing castor beans or sugarcane to the processing of the product, to bringing in more airlines into the country. And ultimately the vision is to have Harare RGM International Airport as the regional hub for fueling and supply of sustainable aviation fuels.
In terms of the strategic, the net, the targets basically set by ICAO in terms of net carbon emissions, just walk us through in terms of where does ICAO want us to get to?
Sure. ICAO and member countries, when we last met at the end of last year, a target was set to reduce the carbon footprint by 5% by 2030, which means we don't have much time because ultimately these stringent conditions will now be put on aviation players to start using sustainable aviation fuel. So it's a window of opportunity for us as a country to develop this fuel and be a pioneer in Africa, where we can actually start producing fuel in Zimbabwe, supplying airlines, and even supplying our own. If we don't move with time, this opportunity will be taken up by others. But ultimately what it is, it's an opportunity for us without oil. Like you know, those oil-rich countries have developed their economies using oil. But for us as Zimbabwe, this is an opportunity to use our vast land resources, our technical expertise, our water bodies. We have Topem Kosi, we have Osborne Dam, we have many water bodies in the country that can now be developed to use land that is not available for food production, to produce your sugarcane, your castor beans, your soya beans and others. Because ultimately it has to be a sustainable production of feedstock that doesn't compete with food. And because we have the land that is not being used, we have the water bodies, and also we have the expertise, the human resource, it's a big opportunity for us as a country to step in and fill that vacuum.